And today we have
Grace Van
Grace Van.
Cleave.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
Like, am I supposed to talk to?
Our intros are always a problem.
Okay.
We can never figure out how to time them nicely.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
fine.
I'm gonna. All right. I'm gonna sit.
Hello, Grace. How are you?
I'm great. How are you? Glad to
Very
be
good.
here.
We're excited. Okay, Layla, you want to start with questions because I did not get them up on my screen in time.
girl. Yes, I will. I don't have them up either.
Oh no, I got them. Okay. All right. Grace, what inspired you well, tell us about your district first before we jump into that.
Sure. I am running to represent Iowa Senate District 17 in Des Moines, and it really is. I say the heart of Des Moines. It goes from Beaverdale, I see the Snooki's ice cream shop, all the way to the fairgrounds. It really is, I think, a bunch of several neighborhoods that are like small towns stitched together, including Drake neighborhood where I live, as well as up to Riverbend, Oak Park, Highland Park, the East Village of Des Moines, and to Cheatham. I'm sorry, missed Cheatham Park, and then to the fairgrounds on the east side. I'm sure I missed a few. I'm no favorites, no favorites.
We we love Des Moines in general.
Yeah.
We're there often. Layla lived there for quite some time when she was in college, and we discovered a couple years ago the Beaverdale Christmas lights.
Yeah. Oh, amazing.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh, it's like one of our favorite things to do. So we're and I love Beaverdale, the neighborhood. The houses are so cool and they're so cutesy and cottagey. One
Oh,
of my favorite places. It's so much fun.
I actually met at a dinner recently. I met a couple that live on the street where the Christmas lights are, and we were asking all about it. We're going, okay, so like when you buy a house, do you understand?
Right?
But it's also, what's also cool about this district is it's one of the youngest districts outside of Ames in Iowa City in Iowa. It's also one of the most diverse. So there's a large Black population, Latino, Asian student population, young professionals, young families. And we also, of course, seniors who have raised kids and now they've flown the coop. So we have quite a bit of, different demographics, different issues that affect certain parts of the district and certain people.
Sure. What inspired you to run for Iowa Senate?
Yeah.
Again, right? Did you run
Yes,
before? Yes.
I did. I ran 4 years ago, and at the time I ran, they had just done redistricting.
Mhm.
I was living in an open seat, and it was just it's like, yes, I want to do that. I want to run. And at the time, but frankly, because I was tired of being angry, and it was either like I can sit and watch MSNBC and be angry, or I can do something. And I've worked in politics for over 20 years, working in Democratic politics, and so I never thought I'd be on the candidate side, but I did it. I also ran very strongly. I saw the writing on the wall of what was going to happen with reproductive rights in the state and country, and I ran very hard on that. I like to say before it was cool, and now I lost, and I kind of we threw out the yard signs a couple of years ago, like didn't know that it would be that I would have the opportunity again. And Senator Isaiah Knox, who I had run against previously, called me at the end of the summer and said, I'm likely going to be running for county supervisor, and I really think you need to look at this. And here I am. And so there's some unfinished business to take care of. And I'm, glad to be here. And there's still a lot of, if not more problems in the last 4 years under Kim Reynolds that
Oh
needs
yeah.
to change.
Yeah, for sure. You have a primary opponent, correct?
I do.
How many are in your primary? Is it just two?
We will find out tomorrow if there's anyone else, but as of now, there are two of us.
Okay, okay. What do you think makes you different from other Democratic candidates or from your primary opponent?
Well, I mean, for one thing, I will say I come with this as a background of helping Democrats win, working for different campaigns, organizations, and nonprofits. At the same time, I'm also a woman, and which gives me different hardware than quite a few folks. And I think we've seen in states like Michigan, where a combination of women leaders and organized labor have really been able to drive home a message to, to working people and everyday voters about, affordability, education. So, they're excellent messengers on the issues that hit home to what I would say is the equivalent of Iowa voters as well. I also am, I am running because I see that we need to stop losing. I believe as much as I want Rob Sand to be our governor. I believe he will be. And we need a veto pen, but we need a change in the legislature. We need majorities in order to pass the legislation we want to pass. And I see my view as running for the Senate as I'm here to serve my constituents. And next I'm there to win a Democratic majority.
Yeah, which is great. I like that you look at it like that because that is very similar to how I look at it. Um, the governor's race in the state of Iowa is one of the least interesting races for me. Um, because while it is very important, I believe that having a majority is more important than the governor's race itself.
Yes.
All of them are important, obviously. Rob Sand, don't come for me. All very important, but I feel like getting a majority in the House and Senate would be top tier for this year.
Oh, absolutely. And, hey, maybe it can happen this time. I think this is going to be a several term project. And
Oh,
that's why I've been talking to, and I'm very grateful that I've been endorsed by, I'm the only candidate in my race that has been endorsed by a labor union. Thank you, Iron Workers Local 67. I'm the only candidate in my district, in my race. There's only been two current sitting senators who've endorsed, and they've both endorsed me. That's Senator Liz Bennett and Senator Tony Bisignano. I'm also endorsed by Representative Rob Johnson and former Representatives Marty Anderson and Wayne Ford, as well as the Iowa Unity Coalition. And, a lot of that is because people see we need a new generation and we need to build a winning coalition. Some that, as we were talking earlier, of that is how we can win all of Iowa, not just replacing blue candidates in blue districts.
Right. We always ask because we're building our own bank if you have a particular political podcast or TikTok page that you follow. We know everybody loves NPR and IPR. That's a
Yes.
given. MSNBC. We try to stay away from legacy media altogether, even MSNBC, because sometimes we're like,
Right.
but yeah, we like to think of the smaller guys. Do you have any that you follow closely?
I'm a big fan of the Bulwark. And in fact, Sarah Longwell, who's on there, I went to college with, so that's been fun, following her. I also like Heather Cox Richardson's Substack. And I read a lot of books too. I'm really interested in, especially like what the right has built over the last 30, 40, 50 years. So there's like Dark Money by Jane Mayer's one I recommend people read. And, just hearing about, seeing what other, they've successfully built something. And I'm not saying we want to be exactly like them, but boy, can we take some of those ideas and put them to good use.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of dark money, do you take corporate PAC money, or do you plan to vow not to take corporate PAC money now or when you're in office?
I will say the biggest, I am anti-Croto. That is what I always say is I'm like, I won't take money from Croto here. I don't know that, that would have to be, all I know is that I'm here to represent the people. So I don't, that would be a case by, I want to win is pretty much where I would say. So if, I'm happy to take, if somebody wants to give me money, I'm not emboldened to anybody, but I will take that money to use it to good purposes to win.
Fair enough. Layla, next question is yours.
Okay, so if we look at the legislature as if you're picking a major in college, what would you major in and what would you minor in?
Okay, so first of all, I actually went and shadowed Senator Knox for the afternoon one day during session this about a month or so ago. It's not like college, it's like high school, maybe middle school. Like, I'm serious. It's like these people sit here, these people sit in the cafeteria all day, and there's a group that sits up here. I was like, oh my gosh, this really is high school. So, but if it were college, I would major in constituent services and I would minor in winning elections.
All right.
Okay. What are some ways that you're active in your community?
Yeah, I would say, obviously I've been active in the Democratic Party at the local, state, and national level. Have been a block captain for Invest Des Moines in the Drake neighborhood of helping my neighbors be able to receive funds from the city to make repairs on their homes. And then I also, had a really wonderful time most recently. I volunteered. I knew I would be running. But instead of Senator Knox got out. He announced his race for county supervisor on Thanksgiving Day. And I had a choice of, well, I can get in right now, which is what most people would suggest you do because you got to start raising money, or I could wait. And I was going, you know what? We have a special election literally next door to this district. And I can't go around saying that I am running, I want us to win a new Senate majority, and I'm not helping. And I'm also distracting, taking funds. So I did not file for election until beginning of January, and instead spent as much time as I could helping Renee Hardman win. And it was just a great reminder of how important it is just to, whether it's doing one shift a weekend or phone banking, whatever it is, whether you've decided you're coming to put stars on signs or you're phone banking or you're knocking on doors, every little bit helps, because that election could have easily been a disaster for Senator Hardman if we hadn't had a bunch of volunteers on the ground. But we had incredible turnout because we were knocking on doors. Nobody knew there was going to be a special election the day before New Year's Eve, December 30th. And it was just explaining to folks one by one, this is happening. The Republicans are betting on you not coming, and we need you to come and vote. And people did.
Yeah. Okay, this is probably the most controversial question. Cats or dogs and why?
Oh, well, let me just see if this answers it. This is Molly.
Oh, hello.
She is my rescue dachshund. Hi, sweetie. She is always at my side. I am her person. We've had her 13 years, and she had her sister Maggie as well, but Maggie passed away about 2 years ago. So they were adopted from the Animal Rescue League here in Des Moines. So I'm very much a dog person, and I will say I'm allergic to cats, which gives me a bit of a bias. Otherwise, yes. But I do admire from afar.
That is fair.
Okay. What are your top priorities that are not healthcare, water quality, or education?
Building a majority. I would say building a majority that will also just fight for Iowans to make that we can lower utility costs, healthcare costs. And it's whether, like I said before, it's like, we can have the veto pen, which we need. I would love one right now. But if we want to make great change, helping make sure that, we're increasing wages, we're creating economic opportunity in the state, that's going to happen with winning majorities that can pass legislation that affects Iowans' everyday lives.
Yeah. Do you support the private school voucher program?
No.
So there's a little bit of beef with Democrats who are running. If you're a Democrat and you're against the private school voucher program, you're either we need to audit this and we can work with it, or you want to get rid of it completely.
Oh, I'm like, yeah, no, let's throw that to the wolves. Absolutely. I mean, I will say I moved to Iowa. I'm from Tennessee originally. And one reason why I moved here to Iowa to work for Governor Chet Culver quite a bit ago. And it was supposed to be 11 months and not a day longer. And one reason why I stayed is that I was so impressed with the public school systems that were here, that you could have such a good quality of life, that family did not, in fact, my now husband explained to me, he was like, you don't have to kill yourself here. Like, you can have a good job. You can, you can send your kids to good public schools. You might even be able to afford a vacation. Like and that is just not the case right now. And, I had never been a part of a state that had invested strongly in had a history of, and still did invest in public education. And that's why I think it is bonkers for the governor and other Republicans to go, you know what, let's trash this. Like, it's one thing if you've never had it, but to take what you have that's wonderful and then trash it, I don't understand.
And to continue trashing it. Not like,
Yes.
oh, hey, we tried this and it was terrible. So let's maybe do something else. No, we're just going to keep lying to ourselves and everyone else that this voucher program is amazing. Blech.
Absolutely. It's like, no, we don't want anybody to bring good jobs here. Absolutely not. Like we are not
Yeah.
going, yes, let's see what else we can do to revert people away from the state.
I think
Please,
they're
let's do
trying to chase us all away. Um,
that.
okay, so we always like to ask, what would you consider valid experience for someone who wants to run for Iowa House or Iowa Senate?
Um, I think that first off, anytime anyone comes to me, and I've also encouraged people, I think everybody should run. If it's in your heart, everybody should run. However, I think right now we need to win. And if you are going to be running for the House or the Senate, it is like, how are you? If you're not swinging a district, if you're not, I'm going to beat a Republican to be there. It is, how am I helping elect Democrats all across the state? And if you're just going for your own experience to have your gold name tag and to, talk about your niche issues, like that's great, but there's a lot of other things you can do. Start a podcast. Like there's a lot of things you can do to get that message. But if you're, it is there. I mean, it is like, are you going to be knocking on doors? Are you raising money? What voters are you able to talk to that aren't currently, that the party is not currently able to speak to right now? And if you don't have an answer for those things, then I think that there might be other positions for you.
Yeah, that no one has ever answered in that way before, and I 100% agree. I think a lot of people think, I'll just file and get the signatures and then throw my name on the ballot and hope for the best. No, no, this is so much work. It is an insane amount of work. And if you don't think it's an insane amount of work, then you're not doing it. You're not
That's
doing it,
correct.
you
That's
know?
absolutely right. And I think
Yeah,
there's something to be said of like, this is a profession. And I'm not saying that you have to have a certain background to do this, but I have done this for 22 years.
sure.
And, there is a difference of, between my experience and somebody wanting to do this as a hobby or, their retirement job. Like this is, right now we're in crisis and we need people who are going to help to fight back. Like, I think when we have super majorities, sure, we can put all kinds of people up. But if you're not there to help win across the state, then no, I think that there are lots of other positions that your voice is needed for.
Sure. So campaigning is hard. Um,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah,
And it is hard. And I think that's something that doesn't get talked about enough because the concern is scaring people out of running, but I think they need to know. And I think if people knew how hard it is to campaign, maybe it would talk some of the less serious people out of running. Um,
absolutely.
so with how difficult it can be and how time consuming, what keeps you going?
Mm. Honestly, what keeps me going are the stories that I hear throughout this district. Right before I ran, I was connected with a woman in this district who was a single mom, worked full time, had been renting her home for several years, paid on time every month, but oh, this broke and this broke. And long story short, she was going without water for over a week in the dead of winter. And she's sitting there having to have her daughter stay with her mother, I believe, and she's somewhere else. And, again, kept calling landlord. And I'll be honest, in this situation, I don't think the landlords were slumlords. They were just negligent and just somebody was not doing their job. And she was introduced to me, and I'm going, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I've never dealt with landlord issues, but I will figure this out. As I always say, if you've worked retail or waited tables, figure it out. There is no, I don't know. And so, long story short, I ended up introducing her to the city, reached out to city councilmen and some other folks, introduced us to a nonprofit, housing nonprofit. She ended up, not only did she get refunded for several days of rent, she also got a new property manager because there were other complaints. And, I don't seem like I think I just was there to help her advocate for herself. Yesterday I'm hearing about a woman, her adult son who has, intellectual, I believe he's on the spectrum. And, he's losing his waiver, his autism waiver as an adult, and so is losing his housing. His transportation costs. He takes the bus every day, working at Walgreens on the other side of town. When you hear those things, yeah, this isn't about whether I'm tired or not. Like, this is about and I don't see myself as I'm the grand savior of it all, but it's like I'm here to be a voice to these people, and I'm here to go to the Capitol and remember, like, this is who we're fighting for, not for corporations, not for, making sure that everything's just status quo and I don't want to ruffle any feathers. It's like, no, we have to make some people uncomfortable because there are other people who can't be here right now because they're working and trying to do the best they can.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so the next two questions we hear are quite difficult. They're not for us because I'm not running for office, so I have nothing to lose. What do you consider to be like your hottest take?
Oh, my hottest take. Let me think about that.
I think Layla might have an example. She's usually pretty good about coming up with those.
Um, you know, I think that my hottest take is that we should stop looking at having political experience as being a liability. Like, oh, you're a creature of Washington, or, whatever it is. And it's like, hey, what about the fact that, like, I did when I was 21 years old, or actually I was 20 years old when I worked on my first campaign. Like, I didn't have any money. I just save up money to go, like, take an unpaid internship. Thank you, God, I don't think we do those anymore. I took a lot of risk, and I watched a lot of my friends go and, get married and start lives earlier than I did and have different financial futures. But I do have learned a lot, and I want to apply that. And, I don't like the idea of ever hearing it dismissed or that I shouldn't talk about it. It's like, it is who I am. And I have started small businesses. But I think that we really, in this time of crisis, we need professionals. And I do believe in the grassroots, and we need that, but we need professionals.
I think the one thing we hear a lot, especially in not so much state level like races, but in the like the Senate and Congress races and things like that. I absolutely hate the term career politician.
Oh, yeah.
Um, so cool. Like, I don't, how is that a bad thing? I don't really understand. I feel like if someone has been elected to a position by the people that they represent, then it's not, that immediately says they're not a career politician because they can't appoint themselves to that position, right?
Sure.
Like, people keep voting for them.
Yeah.
So they got there somehow.
And the
Um,
same people who will criticize people like Chuck Schumer or Nancy Pelosi, specifically Nancy Pelosi for being a
Uh,
career politician, love Bernie Sanders.
oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
no,
Absolutely.
literally.
I know. Oh, yeah. Isn't it funny how it's
Uh,
always, it's Nancy Pelosi especially, but
mhm.
isn't it funny how that works out?
Crazy. It's like there's some weird bias against
I
women.
can't imagine. I don't know anything
What?
about that.
All right, next question is what is your wokest take?
My wokest take. Oh, this is funny. Okay. So I don't know if you're familiar with this concept of internet rabbit holes, but I definitely this winter I was on a deep dive for a whole weekend on fines and fees in Iowa and court debt and what happens, with people like first off, how much is if somebody they've completed a jail sentence, their debt to be paid. If you're fined, without for whatever reason, whether it's speeding, other things, of the amount of those costs, including just like indigent defense. We have one of the highest rates in the country, especially in rural areas where, there isn't legal aid at every, on the street corner. It's going out to private attorneys. And, you have these folks who have these really, or have this debt. And it's, there are systems that are like, it's all or nothing. It's like, well, you can pay it all or not, or then just to get a payment plan is quite laborious. And, we also, if you're not paying it, then when it comes time to re-register your car, you can't do that. And
Right.
then, if you need a license, you can't do that. And I don't understand why we are putting people in a situation where they are trying to be better. They are trying to earn a living, and we're going to take away their car. Like, we're going to make it so now they're driving either not driving, or they're driving uninsured and not licensed. I mean, I'm sorry, even the biggest loan shark, I don't think will do that to you. So,
It's true. We like to call, I think we would probably loop that in with what we call poverty tax,
100%. And
where,
what's so, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
no,
interrupt.
you're fine. Go
Well,
ahead.
what's funny is every time, like, I'll get, I would like say this in speeches, like talking to different Democratic groups, and my campaign manager was like, stop talking about fines and fees. Like, nobody cares about that. Nobody cares. And I'm like, okay,
We care.
I'm not like, I care. I'm not going to stop. Literally, the next thing we go to, are talking to this fabulous supporter afterwards. He became a great supporter. And he's like, I mean, and court debt. And then he like literally starts going off. And I was like, yes, thank you. Preach. Like, this is exactly when. And I was like, see, it's not a niche issue. And I was talking to a criminal defense attorney recently, and he was like, do you know who pays that debt? He was like, it's not the person, it's usually a parent or a grandparent that's worked hard their entire life. And now they are paying it because the state won't fund their judicial system. Like, so they're having to pay for this. And no, it's not right. Just fund the judicial system. Don't put it on, we have a group of society that wants law and order, but they won't pay for it. And instead they are looking to, like you said, a poverty tax to pay for it. And that is not okay.
Agreed. Okay, we have rapid fire next, which is not really rapid fire at all. It is 2 questions, yes or no answers. You do not have to dive into those, but you are
Oh,
welcome to if you feel the need.
okay.
The first one is, are you pro-choice?
I'm going to say 100% like standing up, yes.
Very
Um,
good.
I did run strongly. I was a voice for choice in 22, and I was told by several Democrats elected to not talk about abortion. So,
Every time I hear that, I get so angry.
oh
Um,
yeah, it's
we
like, well,
talked to a congressional candidate that said the same thing, that was told, absolutely do not talk about abortion, do not talk about women's rights. Girl, shut it. Like,
uh,
we have been told as women for a very, very long time to sit down and be quiet. And that is exactly what you're telling us to do by not talking about abortion right
exactly.
now.
Tell me when the
Ew.
appropriate time is, because they're taking away our rights. So tell me when. Are we going to wait? Like, tell me when the
Right.
polite time is to talk about
Right. Is
this.
it when we're actually wearing like the handmade costumes? Is that
Right.
when
I
we
mean,
actually like,
maybe behind closed doors. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Okay. So the next one is trans rights, LGBTQ plus rights, specifically trans rights, obviously here in Iowa. Are you pro?
Well, 100%. I am honored that I have been part of one. I helped elect Mike Simonson to the Des Moines City Council, not once but twice, the first openly gay council member. And then I am honored to have Senator Liz Bennett, the first openly LGBT senator in the Iowa Senate, is also in supporting me. And woman and sorry. And I will also say that I believe that we want everybody to thrive in the state
Yeah.
and be comfortable and feel safe, whether it's in their school or workplace. And I am very, very grateful. I'm sorry, my brain is going all a million ways, but I just realized I said first LGBTQ. That is woman, because Matt McCoy was the first openly. Yes, so yes, it was Liz Bennett, but it's the first woman. But anyway, yes, so 100% in favor.
Amazing. Perfect. We always joke about what would happen if somebody says no to those. Like how we would react to somebody saying no. I fear it would be ugly. And I would still post it on purpose. I'd be like, "You're terrible."
Like, do you know what podcast you're on? Like, do you
Right.
know?
Have you maybe even like taking 30 seconds to look, are you a Republican? What is happening? It would be a very
Right?
confusing moment. So we have two questions left. The next one is, why should your constituents vote for you?
Yeah, look, I'm here because I'm fighting for an affordable Iowa. I do not believe all of us over the last several years, especially, we have seen prices, whether it is your healthcare costs, your car repairs, food prices, the grocery bills, like it's all up, going up, and our wages have not. And frankly, it has been a very long time. I will even give Terry Branstad and Tom Vilsack both hustled for our state, bringing good jobs to this state. We have not had that happen in a very long time.
No.
I don't consider an Amazon warehouse to be the equivalent of, nationwide, all these other places. And so, I don't believe that affordability is just an economic issue. This is a moral issue. And our state, a state that believes that basic human needs is optional is not pro-family. And, so I'm here and I can understand why people are angry right now. Because if you've been told your whole life that if you work hard, you play by the rules, you're going to be able to, whether it's getting to retire or having, you can pay off your house, you can own a home and pay it off, you can send your kids to good schools and they can have a better life than you have. And people aren't seeing that anymore.
Right.
And you have people who, like I've been there, where you think, if I can just make this amount of money, if I make this amount of money, I will be set. And then you get there and you're like, what is this? Like, I don't like, I still can't pay my bills.
Yep.
And yet I'm told that the stock market's great and all the, our economy is booming, but I'm not feeling it. And, so of course the most divisive voices are going to divide us and tell us that the problem is, it's our, the newcomer, the person who doesn't look like you or live like you. And that's why I'm here, is because I believe that we have to lock arms, like President Obama said. We have to be the family that if we don't fight right now, like we will forever be divided.
Yeah.
And so this is the time that I am, I strongly believe that we need to be talking to everyone, like, in Grundy County, that we don't take anything for granted. And, the way to change these things, it's with a new Democratic majority, a new generation of leadership. I joke, I'm 43 years old, and that is a new generation here in Iowa.
It's true. It's true.
But yes, we need fighters, and we need to stop being in a losing mentality of like, well, it wasn't that bad. No, we are here to win. This is the Iowa Democratic Party, and we can win.
All right. Last question is, share your socials, your website, and what is your big ask?
Sure. Okay. So I am at graceforiowa.com, and you can find me at Grace for Iowa on Facebook. We would love to have you. My big ask is, look, this is the fight of our lifetimes. And I know often sometimes it's like, well, that's a primary. Well, the reality is we looked at who voted in this primary in 22, and almost every single person voted again in the general election. My district is one of the lowest performing in terms of voting in the whole state. And if we are engaging people now, they're going to come out in the general to help people like Sarah Trump Garrett and Rob Sand and whomever is going to be our Senate nominee. And we so what I always say is, like, working on a campaign, it's hard to make friends as an adult. It's a found family. And we need people who are going to knock on doors, write postcards, phone bank, put up yard signs. When I talk to people, I always say, it's going to take all of our gifts. And I don't want anybody to come here thinking, like, on a Saturday morning, oh, I got to go knock for Grace. It isn't about me. This is about knocking for a new Democratic majority. Because if it's about me, well, that's first off, like, I'm running to be the caretaker of this seat. It's not just about being behind a personality. So I really hope, I would love we need everyone's gifts. And if you are a person who you do great painting stars on signs, we need you. So please come to our website, go to our website. You can also graceforiowa.com. You can go to our Facebook page. We will take you if you don't live in the Des Moines area, you don't want to drive, we can virtually put you on a phone bank, on postcards. We have lots of things for you to do. So please come and be part of this. And again, we need every person. Please bring your talents and your time, and we will put it to good use.
Awesome. All right.
Yes.
That's it. You're
All
all
right.
done.
Thank
Easy
you.
peasy. Thank you so much for hopping on. I know your schedule is insane and you have a lot going on, so we appreciate you taking the time to
Oh my gosh, this
stop
was
by.
worth it. I hope this was good for you. I would do it every day. Anything for you guys, because y'all are doing the good fight.
Awesome. All right. You
Give
are
me some
free.
good
Have a good
sun.
rest of your night.